Hi, this is Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog, and we have got a tremendous show for you today. Two of my very best friends in the world, starting with newlywed Zach Billings. Hey, big guy.
How's it going, Jim? Thanks for having us.
I'm having the best day of my life. How about you?
It's a pretty good one. It's a successful Thursday, and here we are.
Well, tell me about married life. I mean, Zach is from Wikimotive, by the way. But
That's right.
tell me about married life. How's things going?
It's pretty similar to before married life, but now I do more of what I'm told.
Yeah, you got a contract, sort of.
That's
Okay,
right.
today we're going to talk with the folks at Wikimotive. We're going to talk about what you're doing wrong as opposed to what you're doing right. And we're not here about getting new clients. We're here about educating the dealers. And to
That's
help
right.
us do that, another friend of mine, Summer White. Hi, kid.
Hey, how's it going? Happy anniversary to you.
Oh, yeah, it is my anniversary today, isn't it?
Yeah,
38
I got social
years.
media stalkers.
Yeah, I met my wife 38 years ago. I sold her a car.
And you married her the same
All
day?
right.
No, 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 no. I put her in the ditch. Summer, I got to tell you, I made $3,500 gross on a $13,000 car. I put her in the weeds, and then
Uh,
I made every payment myself. I,
you got to do
I
what you
was
got to
so
do
pissed.
sometimes.
I was so pissed at me. They
You
said
just
it
don't
would
know.
never last, and here we are 38 years later, still married to the same woman. We're still deeply in love. I wish that for you, Zach.
Appreciate it, Jim.
Absolutely. Long and
Me
happy.
too.
Well, Zach, why are we
Well,
here today?
before I answer that, Danielle, my wife, she started out as a finance manager in automotive. It's not actually how we met, but she started out as a finance manager. So if anyone was going
Me
to put
too.
one
Me
of us
too.
in the ditch on a car, it'd be actually her.
That's amazing. I did most of my career in F&I. F&I is where I set the record. So, yeah,
Nice.
I was a great salesman. I was a great sales manager, but I was a excellent. I was a legendary F&I manager. So I can relate to your wife, Danielle.
Yes.
Clearly, I need to
Well,
go buy another
tell
car.
me about what is that?
So clearly, I need to go buy a car. This is the way to meet people.
The
Oh,
next dating app
fantastic!
Yeah.
for automotive.
Are you single right now, Summer?
Yeah. I mean, I make work my partner, but what's she gonna do? That's not good forever, right?
Hey guys, hey, pay attention. Available makes a
Yeah.
lot of money.
I'm not in a ditch.
Oh golly, fantastic. Well, okay. Everybody knows that Wikimotive is world famous, internationally famous for SEO, search engine optimization. That's what you
You
guys
bet.
do. That's what you do for dealers. Why are we here today?
Yeah, so our bread and butter is SEO. We've been doing that for 13 years, started out in retail. Now we do it on the vendor side. It's the boutique version, the real version, but SEO is basically black magic to most dealers. And I like how
Yeah,
you
we
put that
said
in
that
the
earlier.
title. Yeah, and it's like nobody knows how to measure it, how to hold it accountable, and it's just one of the many things that makes up a real marketing plan. So here we are, we're in the state of the industry where new cars are coming back for franchise dealers, independent of which OEM you've got and how much they're jerking you around. There are more new cars coming back, and it's looking more and more like we're going to see that going into 2023.
Dealers
So
have inventory again. It's competitive again.
it's competitive again. So we're having the conversations that we were having back in 2019 before it all blew up, where it's about market share. It's about how do we bury the guy down the street? How do you crush your competition, right? And we're back to trying to talk about that and help dealers to understand how do I hold a vendor accountable, not just an SEO vendor, but how do I look at my paid search? How do I look at my website? Who should be doing these things for me? Because a lot of this is supposed to be somebody's job. And there's a lot of really simple ways that you can look at these different types of marketing so that you can understand, am I getting what I'm supposed to be paying for now? And then what should I be asking a vendor if I'm shopping for something new in 2023 to make a better plan?
Zach, I've done business with thousands of dealerships, thousands. And I got to tell you, I see their websites and I see some of the marketing they're doing. And I was amazed how many dealers are doing business with agencies that are not Google certified.
Yeah, so especially on like the paid side, you do need to know what you're doing, and it can't be guesswork. You shouldn't be just taking darts and hucking them across the room and saying, "Hey, look what I got you."
It's not just picking the right words anymore, is it?
No, it's not. It's hard work, and you've actually got to be in there. And you know what? I've heard a whole lot of in the last year. A lot of these agencies, they've bloated and bloated. They've got hundreds or thousands of dealers. And universally, as a nation, we're in a bit of a labor shortage, right? So what's been happening to a lot of dealers, you keep on churning through new reps at the company at your vendor. So you've always got somebody new who doesn't know what your priorities are, who doesn't know what you just told your last rep last month. So it's always like a moving target trying to get your vendor even.
There's a lot of Twitter employees on the market right now.
Yeah. I hear some big shots with big degrees too.
That's what I heard. So we're going to talk about today how dealers can maximize their ad spend, not make the wrong decisions, and what makes the right decisions. And you're not here for new clientele. My friend Angus Fox said that recently at a conference, didn't he?
He did. He got up on the stage and he said, "I am not accepting new clients." And that's more for his kind of department of it. But he was like, "I'm not accepting new clients. I am here to bury big vendor that doesn't care about the dealers and to help dealers make more money." And we're about the same thing. I'd love it if somebody wants to take a free audit afterward. And if they decide to sign up, that's awesome.
Wait a minute. A free audit, you threw that out early in the broadcast. You will do. Okay, let's talk about that free audit before I introduce Summer again. Tell me about the free audit. What is that all about?
All right, I'll put it the most simple way I can, because everyone's got a free something or other that's actually just a hook as a sales tool, right? And 100%, like the way that we set up our free audit, I hope you take a free audit and then I hope you ask me, well, what can you do for me? That's totally candid, what I'd love to have happen. But the free audit is a lot more than just like we plug your website into some tool and it spits out a number. Free audit is for SEO, and it answers the question, how do I show up 5 miles from my store or 10 miles from my store? Anyone in their own store can Google Ford dealer, or they can Google used trucks for sale, or whatever it is that they want to rank for, and see, how do I rank in my showroom? What a lot of people don't realize is if you go 5 miles down the road, you might fall off the page completely. So what the audit is all about is I really go to your website. I find out, are you doing the things that you should be doing? Is your current vendor doing what they should be doing for SEO? And then no BS. I use an objective tool, third-party tool, and I tell you, how do you show up a little further down the road? Because that will answer for you, absolutely. Am I ranking in a way that matters to consumers, or do I disappear?
Fantastic. Now, Summer, you came from the dealer side of things. I knew you in retail. Now, all of a sudden, here you are in the vendor side. What was the biggest revelation you had when you started looking at dealers from another eyeball?
Yeah, no, I think being on the dealer side, you're pulled in so many directions, and so you just look at the top line number, and it is whatever it is, and there's no diving deep, right? And so whoever has the shiniest result is who's winning. And I think that's one of the things that I always loved about Wiki when I was a client, and why I wanted to come on board now is because they tell the truth. Like, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, we're going to dig in. We're going to find opportunities. And even if we're not saying, okay, I know this is your smoking gun, we're going to provide questions to take back to those vendors. Because at the end of the day, wasteful spending is so frustrating. It is so frustrating to pay for your name, and we watch people do that all the time. So I move a
You
lot.
see dealers making some really dumbass decisions through their agencies. You know,
They do. And then just yesterday, I had a paid agency hit up one of our clients who, of course, forwarded me, and they're searching for super long tail, very specific non-brand keywords, and then saying, look, you're not showing up for this. Your SEO is not doing the trick, and I'm like, well, first of all, you've been here 4 months. Second, like here, and then, you can show them where they're ranking for those brands and those terms that we've been building content. And
will you show them how their competitors rank?
And we're able to kind of go back and call the BS from that rep who sent him and why. Like, hey, here's what he did, and he's not wrong, but he's not right either.
Now, Summer, if I'm a dealer, I want to know how my competitors' SEO is affecting my market, how much penetration my competitors have. I'd like to know how they're doing it. Can we tell any of that?
We can. We have tools that allow us to track. I mean, Zach, I don't know if you want to speak to it more thoroughly, but we definitely have tools where we can track that. Not to mention, you can just go to somebody's website and with some very simple things that he'll show you in the demo, you can.
Yeah. So what's cool is the audit that I do, and we can teach people how to do this too. We have free resources so people can do it themselves. They don't even have to take my word for it.
Wait a second.
The audit.
You're going to give that away?
Text me for it. We produced it as an exclusive, but I can totally send it to anybody. It's a not password protected link. I can just send a link. Here's the educational video. There it is. Day or night, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Jim, if we can audit where any random dealer who wants to reach out, any dealer who says, hey Zach, I want to know, where do I show up 5 miles away? Do I show up and for what keywords? Well, I can do the same thing for your competitor. So I had a funny thing yesterday. I was doing an audit for a Ford dealer in Texas, and I used, during my audit, I was looking at how do you show up for used truck dealership. A lot of Texas is a truck market. And what I was trying to show them was, they right in their backyard, they show up okay for used trucks. And then a little further away, they don't show up so hot. And what ended up happening was one of our own landing pages for a dealer like halfway across the metro was position 1, which is awkward for them. And not something, we don't necessarily try and project, influence and authority that far with organic. But what it did was exactly what you just asked about, which is we saw how a competitor of theirs, in theory, is showing up really high in search, which tells them here's what they need to be doing differently.
I like it.
Let's see. I don't know who exactly that was. Somebody on Facebook says, SEO stars, hey, Jim and the Wiki team just got off a client pitch who had one of those audits that they were raving about. Really?
Well, that's cool to know. It's real info, and it really opens people's eyes. People get on, they take this audit, and whether or not they sign up, most don't. They leave and they go, well, now I have a real sense of what it is that I need to be doing if I want to be competitive.
So there's no pressure. There's no pressure to buy your services.
They don't even have to take a demo. Don't even have to take a demo.
They don't have to take a demo of your services. We're not going to sell them anything, but you'll give them a free audit of how their current marketing is, how their competitors' market is influencing their market, what they're wasting money on, all of that.
That's right. Yep. 100%. Yep.
I want to buy a dealership just so I can hire you.
People have tried.
Sounds good. Yeah. So let's take that a step further. And you just said, talk about waste in that would be in paid search is what we want to look out for there. So kind of going deeper into one of these audits, and this is just information that anyone watching, think about this, ask some questions of your vendors. If, let's say you're a Ford dealer, or let's say you're any dealer, let's go with any dealer. This can work for everybody. And you are bidding on the keyword used car dealer. Okay, that makes sense. You are a used car dealer. If you're in business,
used car dealer, and the city. If I have those words in a search, used car dealer, such and such a city.
Yeah, so let's say you're right in the middle of Houston. You do used car dealer Houston. That's your keyword.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense to bid on that. But if you have good SEO, and some dealers do, our dealers do, and there are other vendors out there that do a good job. If you have good SEO and you rank first position for used car dealer in the middle of Houston, why are you paying a bunch of money to bid for that keyword so that you can now show up twice and pay for the click because it's higher up on the page? So this is
When you're
this is where we get
already
into
showing for that keyword, you're already
exactly.
showing for that keyword. And
That's
there are
So,
agencies charging people to do that.
and the worst part is, in a way, that it's actually blissful ignorance with the agencies charging to do that. I don't think they even realize that they're wasting their dealers mountains of money bidding on keywords that their dealers already rank for organically. And the worst reason for it is some of the dealers who are listening will understand PMAX, a new kind of subset of the paid search industry, also VLA or vehicle listings ads. These are two of the new areas of paid search. So PMAX in particular can eat away at your Google listing traffic. So when you see that little 3-pack of dealers, you search like used car dealer near me, and you see 3 dealers in the map pack is what they call that. That's an important place to show up. And what often happens is with PMAX ads, you're actually showing up with an ad position in that local set of results. And now you're paying for clicks that you had already earned with your Google listing, or further down the page that you had already earned with your organic listing. So there's so much.
I was working with a dealer just yesterday. I went to Google and I put used car dealer, their city. Amazing you bring this up. Used car dealer, their city, and they ranked number 8 in the map pack.
Yep.
Which we all know that's below the fold. I mean,
that is below the fold.
That's way
Absolutely.
down.
You got to click the see more. You got to scroll for a little while. You're basically nowhere.
Exactly.
Yep. That's a rough position to be in. And so
they had an agency that put them there, and they had a pretty substantial ad spend.
Now, here's what I'll say though. If you're in number 8 on the map pack, well, that's an okay time to be paying a little bit of money with paid search to show up better, because you're not showing up organically. So I don't, we do SEO. So we, you know how you're good at setting those up, Jim. Paid and organic are two sides of one coin, right? Both are search. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is you just don't want to be doing both of them on the same keyword. If you show up organically, don't be bidding on it. We do organic, we don't do paid. But paid search isn't the enemy. Paid search is just a way to fill in places that you don't rank organically as you build up your
Wikimotive, your company, SEO specialist, you are all about organic search.
That's what we do.
Very good.
But we like to dig into your paid and find those wasteful spots. Especially, I'm obsessed with digging in and looking for it. And I would argue, Zach, that I do think that these paid agencies know that you're already ranking for the word you're bidding on. And I think that they seed them into your campaign. I do. Not all of them, but I think a lot of them do. I've had a lot of agencies outside of automotive as well. They'll seed your brand name. They'll seed something you're already ranking well for into a campaign, especially a conquest campaign. And then you'll just look at the top level metrics, because who has time?
There are cookie cutter agencies out there that use the same SEO, alleged SEO for every client.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Duplicate content. That is, let's wind this back for a second and get back to the black magic and what to look out for. So most dealers out there, most of the dealers listening to this live or after the fact, they've got an SEO agency. It might be their website vendor. It might be a dedicated agency that does that and paid search and some other stuff. It might be just a dedicated SEO agency like us. You've probably got an SEO agency, and you probably don't know exactly which questions to ask them, because your job is to sell cars, not to be an expert in SEO. So let's talk real quick about a couple of the basic things that you should be asking as a dealer of your SEO agency. And the first one goes back to what you just said, Jim. When you're an SEO agency and you're dropping the same piece of content on every one of your dealers' websites, that is called duplicate content, and it does nothing to get you to rank better. If you don't completely trust your rep or your company, what you can do is go to a page that they gave you and just highlight a little bit of text, like one sentence that doesn't have your brand or your store name in it, paste it into Google with quotation marks around it, and search it. Most of the time, what will happen is you will see tens or hundreds, even thousands of results for exactly the same thing. That's duplicate content. That's how you find it. And so what you want to be looking for here is, am I getting a real deliverable for my money? Because it's insane to me how often there isn't one. And if I'm getting one, is there any quality?
So in other words, any script on your website, highlight it, save it, put it in Google, and see if that script is on other dealers' websites.
Yep, specifically written content. So like it could be
especially if you've got a co-op agency. If the agency is receiving co-op, you can believe they're a cookie cutter deliverable. So highlight a pretty good portion of script on your page. Mm-hmm. Maybe I would say not a sentence. I'd say 3 or 4 sentences on your homepage.
That'll work too.
Something right, preferably something in the upper right-hand corner. And then put that in Google and see if that same scripting appears on other dealers' websites, duplicate SEO. Is that what I'm?
Yep, that's exactly right. And so you're looking out for duplicate content. That's one of the issues. If they're not writing a lot on a page, it's also not going to get the job done. But let's distill this down even further. Just ask your SEO vendor for proof of the work. If you've got a $2,000 a month bill for your SEO, they better be able to just pop up the money from last month.
Zach, I know the answer to the question. There are agencies out there billing for work that wasn't done.
100%. And the worst thing, especially with co-opable stuff, I'll tell you, is when you've got a marketing, you go to Cox, for example, as one of the ones that kind of lops this together. And I'm not saying whether or not there is or is not anything in there of substance, but what we see a lot is the bill for marketing is just one bill for dealership marketing, and it's inclusive of paid search and Facebook advertising and SEO. It's not itemized. We don't know how much of it was done on what, which makes it impossible to hold it accountable without twisting your rep's arm and saying, how much of that $15,000 went to my SEO? How much of it went to this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and even if they are providing you with landing page content and writing, a lot of the mistakes that I see, at least now that I've moved to this side, is things like, we have a dealer that ranks for apple picking every year during apple picking season because they wrote this page and it ranks. And that's beautiful and wonderful. And I'm sure the people in your community are very grateful that you're telling them the best places to apple pick. But that's in market traffic landing on your site for nothing transactional. So when your traffic goes up, you're cheering, your time on site's probably high because you're reading this whole thing, trying to decide where you and your family are going to go. And then you bounce and you're not converting. And then you want to know what's happening. And then when it falls off, now all of a sudden you've lost this in-market traffic, but you never really had it.
Yep. You didn't sell more cars because of apple picking traffic.
And we see what
did you do in the dealerships, April?
That's okay. Actually, people call me April all the time. So I was the marketing director for a dealer group down here in Texas. So they had 4 dealerships.
So you were a marketing director. See, that's where I knew you in another life.
Yes. Yes. But I played in some other retail spaces as well. So I see this not just in the dealer world, but in the dealer world, these GMs, these dealer principals, they want a lead. They want a conversion. There's no flimsy, frothy metrics. They don't want the pretty stuff. They want to sell a car. And
Traffic doesn't sell cars
No,
on its own.
certainly not Apple picking.
Traffic doesn't sell cars. I've never heard that before.
I mean, you're not going to
Yes, you have.
sell cars with no traffic either.
Yes.
It's a good way.
Yeah,
Tell me another thing, Zach.
Yeah, so let's just elaborate a little bit on what Summer said. So if we can just put this in a big old category that everyone can look out for, a lot of the vendors out there that mostly focus on like websites or whatever else, and SEO is sort of the off to the side service.
It's apple picking time.
Yeah, right. Or it's coffee or burgers. So we see like top 10 coffee joints Dallas. Well, when you write that blog article, when your vendor takes your money and writes you a coffee shop blog or an apple picking blog, what happens is people who Google coffee shops near me, they show up on your website. You know what they don't do while they're on your website is decide, oh, I need an F-150. No, they just find the coffee shop and then they go, right? So you're getting a bunch of fluff traffic. Look out for dealer principals, marketing directors who might be listening to this.
Well, do blogs sell cars?
Look, blogs do not sell cars because all they do is generate traffic that is usually informational as opposed to transactional. Informational traffic can help your SEO overall, but only if it's tied together with a larger strategy. Transactional traffic is traffic for not things like coffee shops,
go
not
there
even
to buy
things
a car
like
or look at a car.
Exactly. And so let's define this even better, right? F-150 towing capacity is an informational search. That doesn't mean that someone wanted to buy an F-150. That means they wanted to know something as part of their research. F-150 for sale, F-150 dealer, 2023 F-150 near me. These are transactional searches that turn into leads, that turn into sales. So we need to be thinking differently about our traffic. Traffic's great, but what kind of traffic was it? Where did it go on my website? And did my vendor do anything to actually prove to me that it landed on a real place and that it converted? Taking that a step further, VDPs are great. It's great if someone shows up on your site and you can measure that, okay, they're also going to VDPs. That's a nice sign that you're going the right direction. But
vehicle description page, people. Vehicle description page. Okay.
Yes, thank you. It's great if they're visiting inventory, but if they don't actually click that chat button or click that phone number or submit the form or go to the digital retailing tool and actually fill it out, they didn't convert. So
if they didn't do
thinking,
anything, they didn't convert. They have conversion. People get confused on what conversion is. Conversion is you cause the customer to perform an action. They did something.
And hopefully that something is related to sales or service.
Something. Right. And hopefully we can track it with iframes. And the other thing too, if you think about it, if you have say you have a retargeting display, and a lot of these OEMs will push certain campaigns on you because they want you to spend their co-op dollars. I think they're probably getting kickbacks, but we'll talk about that another time. And so now you get all these people for apple picking on your website that are now in your retargeting pool. So you're spending even more money on non-converting traffic. Not to mention the people that come to your website for something that isn't cars. And this is a sneak peek to a future conversation, but it's just another way to get Google drunk. Like, what do you do? What do you sell? That's what you need to focus on. And if it's anything else, you're confusing the algorithm, right? And especially if it ranks nationally or ranks well, period. So it is one piece of many pieces, but it's something that we're seeing more and more, or at least I have since I've come to the dark side.
The dark side. The bad boys of Wikimotive.
That's right.
You're the bad girl of Wikimotive.
That is true.
Zach,
tell me more.
Let me do like a little mind read here. So,
but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. I know one of the questions that probably everyone listening is asking in their head with, they hear a vendor like us talking, and whether or not I'm working real hard to do the hard sell and put the moves on everybody, or whether we're just providing info. The natural question is, okay, Zach at Wikimotive or any other vendor out there, if I hire you today in December, or let's say in January. Let's say I'm working on my 2023 marketing plan and I'm a dealer. Okay, I'm going to hire a vendor for January 2023. The market is all the way at the bottom right now. Okay, we're getting more new cars. There's a lot of people pulled back from the market at the moment. We all know it, and it's just seasonally. This is already a slow time of year anyway. So the natural question that everyone should be asking is, if I hire a vendor tomorrow or next month, and then I'm trying to measure them in the summer of 2023, when hopefully the interest rate hikes are over, there's more new cars, the economy is hopefully at least stabilized, so people are buying again. Yep. So if you hire a vendor in January, but then you want to measure them in June, well, won't the market have just gone up anyway? How do I know that that had anything to do with the vendor that I hired? How do I know
I see what you're saying,
that
yes.
I didn't just ride the tide to a higher point and then my vendor gets all the credit? And that's a valid question. You should be asking that question. And
do you think the vendors would take bows for that? You think they would take bows for that, like they did something?
Yes, I
100%.
absolutely do. Yeah, 100% of them will say, "Oh, that was all us. You're up 40% because of exactly everything that we did." And it's like, no.
Did you see the movie Home Alone?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm here to tell everybody that there's a way that you can BS meter your vendors on this, and you can determine how much credit should they or shouldn't they be getting. It's a free tool. It's provided by Google. It's literally Google's own data, and it's not hard to find. I'm not going to get into all the details here. Just text me or take the audit and I'll show anybody. I don't think everyone wants the technical explanation of where you find it. But the simple version of this is, you go into Google's AdWords tool, you just plug in a few keywords that describe your store. So if you're a Ford dealer, put in Ford dealer, put in F-150 for sale, and put in used car dealer. That's kind of a good cross section of what you do. Mm-hmm. And Google will show you search volume over time, and you can constrain it down to your market. So if you're a Dallas dealer and you're a Ford dealer, you put in a few keywords, you tell it Dallas, and now it shows you a graph that shows how many people were searching on Google to buy cars over a period of time. So if you plot that from January through the summer of 2023, and it goes up 40%, well, your vendor doesn't get 40% credit. They only get credit if you're above that. So the idea here is there is data.
Slow down. Re-explain that.
Yep.
Re-explain it. Wind yourself back and say it all over again.
Put the cookies on the lower.
If you have a line that goes up and to the right like this, we'll use graphs with paper. You have a line that goes up and to the right like that in your traffic. Is that up and to the right on your screen, or am I backwards?
It's that.
That's up to the left. That's the other way.
That way.
But just don't get a paper.
There you go.
We're going to go that way. So your traffic did that. Well, if the market did the exact same thing, your vendors get no credit. On the other hand, if the market was shallow, right, and your traffic goes up and to the right, then you won. You got more market share. So what we're doing is we're just trying to compare, what did the market do factually? That's
one of the services Wikimotive does. And we need
That's not even a service. That's just information we'll arm you with.
Yeah.
We need to get it out there that we're talking to the executives today at Wikimotive, SEO experts, internationally famous. I mean, my gosh, and now you got Summer White. I mean,
we're in trouble.
We're in trouble.
Just trying to stop us now. Where's Angus? Find me a bear.
The nerd light version of what I'm getting at is, you need to measure your marketing against an outside measurement. If the market goes up and you go up the same amount, you didn't win. All you did was ride the market. If the market goes down and you go down the same amount, all you did was tumble with the market. A lot of dealers are just doing that. Month in, month out, you're just going up and down with the market. And what you want to do is find a vendor who can gain you market share and is willing to be objective about that and show you the information that proves what they did for you against the market, so that we're not using the market.
Now, if you just tuned in, if you came in the middle of this broadcast, That text across the bottom of the screen is a free audit of your marketing. Take a look at that text at the bottom of the screen. This is Zach, the handsome guy in the big screen. So yeah. So anyway, text Zach 24 hours a day. Give him a call. He loves to hear from you at 4 a.m. Give
That's
him a
right.
call or text him, and Wikimotive will, with no pressure to buy their services whatsoever. No pressure to buy. They won't even require you to take a demo. All that they will give you complete marketing analysis of what's effective, what you're wasting money on, what you might be misbilled for. There's a number of things that they will show you that are great value to a dealer. So take that number down, text that number, ask a question on the sidebar. We're here to answer your questions. Take it, Zach.
I also won't pawn you off on, Joey, the sales guy, that it's his first day in automotive. We personally, me and the dealer that reaches out, will go through the audit. Nothing that drives me more nuts than in the market as it sits now, like all of the people that are super green that are told to be dealer facing at a lot of vendors. It's ridiculous because they just don't understand, whether it's not an age thing either. It's literally just, if you've not been in automotive and you've not been around to experience what's going on, and what came before the current circumstances, you can't talk to a dealer on their own, on their own level about what's going on at their store and what's going to matter. So that's sort of a general thing. That's not a marketing measure, but that's, if your vendor's any good, you probably shouldn't be getting pawned off on low quality people. Let's talk about another thing that,
let's do.
That people should be doing a little bit more of, to try and figure out how not to get screwed in 2023. And this is like a real simple thing. It won't be popular, but it'll make sense. I'm giving everybody some homework, and it is actually GMs and dealer principals who should be doing this, not just the marketing guy. Go to your website for 2 minutes a day, just 2 minutes a day, and pick a thing that a customer might want to do. So I want to pick a car, and I want to get a trade value. That's all I want to do with my visit today. Should be a 2-minute task. Doesn't take anything. Brushing your teeth takes the same amount of time. Go to your website and just try and do that thing. Do that for 1 week straight, and I bet you will have questions to ask for your vendors and your marketing team if you have one. Because what you'll quickly find out is, when you're not paying attention, your chatbot starts to talk in Chinese. And when you hit the click to call, you end up in the wrong phone tree, and then you're on a voicemail, or you've sent in a lead on chat. And
I got one. Can I get in here?
Yeah.
Can I get in here? I got one. I had a dealer in Phoenix, Arizona, who had the co-op website with the most popular co-op website vendor. Okay. The phone number for sales and the phone number for service were his competitors' phone numbers.
Oh my God.
No. No.
And nobody knew it. Nobody knew it. Only reason I knew it because I called it.
That also means nobody's clicking to call. Like, what's happening?
That's but you nailed it right there. How long does that go on? And you just wonder, man, I'm having a dead month. The phones just don't seem to be ringing like they were before. Well, it's because the phone number is wrong, or it's going to the competitor down the road.
They use the same template, and they just didn't change the phone numbers.
No, that's the worst.
That is.
Yeah. So that is a great example of the types of reasons, and that is something that you can do in 1 minute. 1 minute Monday morning, while you're catching up on whether it's automotive news or whatever else. Just go on the website and hit the phone number button and see what happens, and then do the same for the service phone number. And if you've got a parts number that's separate, do it for that. Just hit those numbers. That's your task for the day. Do no more. You've showed up at work to sell cars. Focus on that, but do a couple of checks so that you are inspecting what you expect. And then you know which vendor do I need to be, hammering their cell phone and saying, why is my stuff screwed up on my website? Or you go to your marketing director and say, dude, what is this? And try and
Angus isn't here. So you got to also say, submit a form from time to time as well, and see how your CRM process works, because we just did this yesterday and the thank you page was 404ing. And, so there's a lot of opportunity there too. And I just had to speak up for Angus since he missed today.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Tell me more. This is a great broadcast.
All right. So,
Angus is here.
Oh, Angus is here. Is that the ghost of Angus in the comments?
Oh my gosh.
Gotcha, buddy.
So
I love Angus.
We all do.
Social media advertising. Let's talk about that for a second. We do Facebook marketing, and more than Facebook marketing, we do social media marketing where there's ROI. Crazy concept there, actually making sure that there's going to be some return on your marketing dollars. But for dealers thinking about their social media plans for 2023, a little more knowledge, things to think about. TikTok and newer platforms like that, where lots of eyeballs might be going in general, and you've got your millennial followers and in big numbers, and they're certainly at the age where I think millennials is cutting off in the 30s now for age. So it's not like it's 18-year-olds anymore.
They all grew up to be us.
Yeah. So you do want to be in front of those people, but
except in Seattle and Portland.
Yeah. But dealers should be thinking about, like, what is my marketing supposed to be doing for me? So if you do great TikTok content, well, that's branding. So what you don't want to do is whatever you spent to kind of curate your TikTok content, don't look at your budget sheet and say, well, how many cars did that sell me? Because there's not going to be a one-to-one there. You can't connect those dots. Same as you couldn't connect, TV advertising to exactly how many car sales. It's more correlative. If we've upticked our TV advertising, we hopefully see an uptick in our activity, our showroom visits, butts and seats this month. But realize that it's not directly connected. On the flip side, don't let your Facebook advertising vendor tell you that, oh, it's just social media and it's fluff. Because when you're driving traffic from a Facebook ad to your website, that should actually have a pretty direct correlation. In the old days, we
used to quiz every customer. What brought you in?
Yeah,
how'd you hear about us?
and the answer in the CRM starts with the letter A, because it's an alphabetical order, and people just click whatever's first.
They were all drive-bys, every one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I like for every dealer out there who runs into that problem, you add a source in your CRM, asterisk, I was too lazy. Asterisk will show up before A, so it shows up right at the top of your dropdown. And then when someone just picks the first thing in the list, you've got asterisk, I was too lazy to ask. That's something out of Angus' playbook.
Click that, I'm sure.
Man, learn to read.
So my overall point is just be asking your vendors, like, what's this marketing supposed to be doing for me? Everyone's looking really hard at their budget sheet right now and saying, I spend $70,000 a month in advertising across my store. Where is it going and what's it doing for me? So please ask your vendor, what was this marketing supposed to do for me this month? Because sometimes the answer is branding, and that's okay, but don't go looking for the lead. Sometimes the answer should have been leads and you weren't measuring it. And now, they're wasting your money because it was focused in the wrong place, or they were bidding on a keyword you ranked for.
Back in the 90s, I was consulting Senator Ford in oh my gosh, Capital California.
Sacramento.
Got a mind blank. Sacramento, absolutely. Thank you. You won the Jeopardy quiz. Okay. So anyway, I was consulting Senator Ford in Sacramento, and right next door was Cal Worthington Chevrolet. And I got to meet Cal Worthington, and I got to see some of his commercials. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
No.
briefly.
You don't
I've heard.
know? Oh, you've got to Google up Cal Worthington, Cal Worthington. He would ride an elephant, an
His
ostrich,
dog
had a
Spot.
gorilla on his lot. Google up Cal Worthington. I mean, the greatest P.T. Barnum showman in automotive history.
Yeah, he looks
You
like a
know,
good time. I have heard of him.
he was absolutely phenomenal. You know, and it was all television, and he knew where his traffic came from.
Mhm.
But today, you know, in the 1920s, George, our Wanamaker department store said, I know half of my advertising is wasted. I don't know which half.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Today, we can measure to the decimal point where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't waste half of our advertising budget. And that's what we're talking about today. How much of your budget is absolutely wasted because it's not being measured and the measurements are not in your itemized billing.
That's right.
Am I wrong?
No, you're spot on, especially when no one's itemizing your billing. So half my advertising dollars are definitely wasted when it's all on one line item and I have no idea what it's doing. It's like half of succeeding in 2023 is get a handle on what are you spending and then what is your vendor giving you for that spend.
Mhm.
And if it's not either a deliverable that they promised you or a result that they promised you, you don't need it because that's clearly not doing something for you. And I'm overgeneralizing. There are a couple exceptions to that, but for the most part, that's how it works. And every dealer should be quizzing their vendors on what is it that I'm supposed to get from you.
Is there Google Business Profile relevant?
Is it relevant? Yes, it's extremely relevant. However, it doesn't do everything that they think it does. Here's a couple of stats for you. I know stats are boring, but this will blow a couple people's minds. So,
Yeah, well,
Jim,
I'm not
there's
analytical. You know, I'm not analytical. You know, the first four letters of analytical. You know, you know.
That's your polite way of saying enough with the geek, Zach.
Well, tell me the stats. Go ahead.
All right. When you do a Google search, there's three sections. There's the ads at the top. There's the map pack in the next section. There's three results there, and then there's your organic results below that. A lot of people think that the map pack and the organic results are the same thing. And a lot of people are spending most of their money in the ads at the top, right? So that's your paid search. For anyone listening, and if you didn't know, Jim, I think you already know this, 10%, only 10% of clicks are in those ad positions. So you spend all your money, pour your advertising dollars into there, and only 10% of it's there, and you're competing with all of your competitors in your market for that. And the map pack that everyone thinks is so damn important, that is driven by your Google listing that you just brought up. However, it only gets 30% of the clicks. 60% of your clicks are down those organic listings, and that's where your SEO actually has an impact. So a lot of people think that having the perfect Google My Business or Google Business Profile listing is like, that's the answer. That is the key to marketing on Google. That's not where it stops. That's just one component among many.
Oh, and by the way, we've got a celebrity watching the show today, James Ganther. And
who got the
Ganther
correct capital of California, I see.
Yeah, I had a mind blank, I had a mind fart, just I don't know what happened there. But yeah, James Ganther is the foremost legal compliance attorney in the world, maybe the universe. If a dealer wants to tune in to anything legally compliant that you're doing or thinking about doing or need to know or need to be training on, call James Ganther. I don't get any money for plugging James Ganther. He's just a friend of mine.
It's a big topic these days. A lot of people going after dealers, big dealers with money, or that they think have money for little ADA compliance things, and that's an important topic. Not my specialty, though.
We know, James. We got you, man. We heard
yeah, he's on the sidebar. What have we not told people today, Zach?
Oh, that's a great question.
Dig deep. Dig deep. Let's get some more content out here.
All right. So back to SEO, right? The bread and butter, the thing that I'd like to audit for you for free and actually give you some real context. Let's talk about the three things. You know, everyone's vendor tells them something about SEO, and here's how SEO is done. Like your title, it's black magic in marketing and automotive. What actually impacts it? So this is super simple. We talked about it already. Your content needs to be unique to your website. So if you copy the content or the script, as you were saying, and you paste some of that into Google and it's duplicate to other sites, it doesn't work. Next thing that doesn't work is if it's spammy. So spammy means like you just wrote a bunch of garbage and tried to like stuff geos that you want to rank for. You stuffed all your competitors' geos into a page, and it reads like absolute, garbage without Angus. That's not going to work.
Yep.
So if people are trying to do their SEO in-house or they're holding a vendor accountable, focus on, is the content unique? Is it written like it was supposed to be for a consumer? It should be in like a conversational language, the same way that you would put something on a Facebook post when you're okay with your customer.
Google recognizes when you're just trying to stuff words into a sentence. They recognize when it's not natural speech.
That's right. That's right. If it's not natural, it's not going to get ranked. So the harder you try and game Google, the more they're going to push back and say, no, you're not. You're not going to get any ranking for that. So you actually have to write with your consumers in mind.
You got to give meaningful content that has value to the consumers, because Google now weights the value of what you say, the value to the consumer that would potentially click on that click.
Yeah. So earlier I used an informational but still automotive topic as an example. So F-150 towing capacity. You write a blog on your site, or you have a page on your site for F-150 towing capacity. You could answer that by saying between 10,000 and 24,000 pounds.
Done.
And that's it. Or you can try and cram a whole bunch of keywords in there. And either way, that won't work because you barely provided anything in the first example. Or if you cram a bunch of geos and keywords in there, Google just looks at it as spammy. The answer is, well, an F-150 at this trim level in two-wheel drive, in rear-wheel drive can tow this much. If you're trying to tow more, here's a better trim for you. If you also want it with luxury features, your best bet is the Platinum with this packaging, or you need to graduate up to the F-250 or the F-350, list out their towing capacities, explain a couple of use cases, and then look at, well, what's your geographical area? What do people do in your area? Do they tow bass boats, or do they tow RVs into the mountains? Is it mostly a work truck area where it's more of a work truck towing capacity?
So wait a minute, at Wikimotive, you guys take all that in consideration. Is that what I'm hearing?
100% of that. I'm mostly giving free advice for how you look at your own content, but yes, that's 100% what we do. We write over 1 million words of content per month for our dealers with US-based writers. We don't outsource overseas.
I'm sure Angus counted those words.
Yeah, no AI.
Every single one of them. Yeah, he actually knows that it's 1,052,472 words last month, and he gave us a bunch of shit about the one we misspelled. So, no,
it's probably did.
Yeah,
he is. The accountability master, and that's one of the cool things about what we get to do is when we're quality first like this. My job, right? So we don't actually even have a formal sales team. I'm not the sales guy here on your broadcast talking to you so that everyone signs up with us. My job is we hold performance accountable for our clients, and Summer is one of our senior performance managers. So our job is, did we do a great job for our dealers, our dealer partners? And when we meet with them, I'm looking for, where are the successes? What have we accomplished this month, and then distilling it down into words that they understand, because I don't need to see a whole bunch of graphs. What you need to understand is, did we gain market share against some objective measure? So what we do is we make it easy to understand, what did we accomplish? But let me be real clear. We are fallible like everybody else to at least small degrees. No matter how hard we try, something didn't go perfectly last month. And so what happens is, when we're really inspecting what it is that we're providing to our dealer partners, people like me and Summer on our team find that, whether it's a misspelled word or whether it's, hey, that little piece of strategy just didn't do exactly what it was supposed to do, we go back to our internal team, our writing team, our SEO team, our Google My Business team, and we hound them and we say, this wasn't good enough. So when I was joking, Angus found the one misspelled word, that kind of thing is totally accurate to what we do here, because it has to be as close to perfect work as possible. You can't be missing on, when you're working for a Honda dealer, you better not miss on compliance, because Honda's going to catch it real fast. And, so everything from compliance issues to, we didn't talk properly about the market area and the needs of the consumers for that dealer, to just little cross wires like, hey, we're talking a whole lot about F-150s, but this is actually a diesel truck market, and we should be talking about 250s and 350s, because that's what this market's all about. Fine tuning of all of these topics to make sure that they're accurate to our dealer is super critical to performance, and it's also what we
accurate to the dealer, the dealer's geographics. You're taking everything into consideration: demographics, geographics, all of it.
There's nothing cookie cutter about it, really.
And it's not our dealer's job to tell us this.
I know there's a lot of cookie cutter agencies out there. They're cringing right now listening to this broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. You might have even cost me a client or two, but but yeah, it's worth it to hear it's refreshing to hear somebody saying, this is how you catch the frauds. This is how you catch the shysters and the people that aren't performing and the people that are overcharging dealers. The tips on this broadcast, if you're watching the replay, and a lot more people will watch the replay than the original broadcast. If you're watching a replay, rewind it a couple of times, take a look, go back and take a look at some of the suggestions Zach has made today, Summer has made, and think about what you can do to improve your marketing, whether you hire Wikimotive or not.
Right.
They will do a free audit of your marketing. They don't even require that you take a demo of their services. Well, I got it there. Like I say, this is Zach Billings, and he will take phone calls 4:00 in the morning.
That's right.
If you want to just test that, stay up to 4:00 and give him a ring. He would love to hear from you.
Tonight I'm going to have a bunch of caffeine and see who's going to be testing that. And all of a sudden the phone's going to blow up at 4.
Well, these replays will get hit on 2 weeks from now. Don't just wait for tonight. I mean,
all right, I take it back. I'm just going to change my sleep schedule right now.
Yeah, well, Summer, what have we not told people today? What, from your viewpoint? Now, see, I knew you in the dealer world. I don't know you in the vendor world. I'm just meeting you all over again as an executive at Wikimotive. What have we not told people?
I mean, I think the only thing coming from a dealer, like a client, to now being on the vendor side, understanding. You guys were talking about social media from an ads perspective earlier, but understanding how you can leverage your social media to help your SEO. And that's a big part of the strategy that we apply as well. And so building that community, not only it builds your brand, right, but it is actually increasing, awareness and authority. And there's more clicks to your blogs, your landing pages, by leveraging this community that you would be building anyway, right, from social media. So there's a lot of things. There's so many tools out there that I think that dealers aren't necessarily wanting to leverage. Responding to Google reviews. A bunch of them don't want to do that. They don't want to get the person that's just trying to get the free whatever. I hear you, but if Google's just like any other social media or platform, if you're not using it, if you're not responding to its users, it doesn't trust you. It doesn't know that you're really there. So why would it ever want to put you as the first relevant result? Because you're not going to talk to them.
Google SEO is everything.
Mm-hmm.
I got your Bing right here. I mean, it's Google.
It is, and they're all going to leverage some similar type platform. But it's just the idea of making sure that you have to stay engaged. You want to put delivery photos up, throw those on your Google profile too. Like, stay active. These are just like little tiny things, but if you drop enough of those little tiny positive marbles in the jar, right? That's how the flywheel really starts running. And once it's running,
But you know what we really proved today? Zach, do you know what we really proved today?
I don't know.
You guys,
I can't wait.
You guys are smart enough to do a broadcast without Angus Fox.
That's true.
That is true. That is true. That was the challenge for today.
I mean, Angus Fox was nowhere to be. He tried to get in on the sidebar, but I didn't let him. You know, Angus Fox is knocking at the door, but he's not.
Oh.
These are the executives from Wikimotive. Write down that number, or if you're watching a replay, rewind it, stop the broadcast, and write the number down. Give Zach a text. Free demo. Absolutely. If you don't want to see a demo, we'll give you a free audit. Did I say demo? Yes. Oh my. I called it summer, April.
That's what they don't have to take.
I call it April, summer, April a minute ago. I'll tell you, I knew it was one of those months. I didn't call you January, February. I
Not even the right season.
I was in the right season. What a great broadcast we've done today. As we've golly, we're an hour and a minute already. This time just flew. Let's say goodbye to the audience, guys, and give Zach a text.
Do it. Thanks, Jim.
Happy anniversary.